Bullet Club.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're listening forward to the channel, if this is your first time with us, this is Lee Allen Presents. I am your host, I am Alan. This is my co-host, this is Leanne. And as you've already seen from the title card about 10 to 15 seconds ago at this point, these are going to be our predictions for the forthcoming pay-per-view from AEW, which is Double or Nothing, which is coming to us on May 25th from Glendale, Arizona. I didn't get the arena name. I probably should have got that, but whoops, can't get them all. And on that vein, speaking of can't get them all, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping. There was a chap who we were talking to. He was very nice about it, to be fair, who sort of put a comment in, and he kind of said that we missed some things in the last predictions video. Unfortunately, this isn't something we do for a living. This is something we do as like a pastime, something we enjoy doing because we want to share and jump into the community itself and give something to the AEW community and the WWE community when we do the WWE stuff as well. As such, there is 7 weeks between this pay-per-view and the last one, which was Dynasty. That's a lot to remember.
It's a lot.
So if we do miss something, it's not intentional. We're only human. We both have full-time jobs. And I can't take extensive notes for every single thing that happens on both Collision and Dynamite for 7 weeks, because some of them would be pointless. Like if I start writing down notes for Commander, he's not on the pay-per-view. So why would I need that information, you know? So it's we just want to sort of clarify that sometimes we do miss things. It's because, you know, we're not, this isn't what we do as a living, or for a living rather. We both have full-time jobs. This is more of a side thing. We don't get any revenue for this. We do it for fun. We don't get any revenue. It's not like we can like hardcore into this and so forth. But we just wanted to sort of make sure that if we do miss something, it's not on purpose. It's not because we're not paying attention, because there's a lot of stuff to remember a lot of the time.
Yeah, if you're looking for like accurate and complete commentary, this probably isn't the channel for you. And there are channels out there that'll do that stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want just like honest reactions from your everyday person, then that's what we're here for.
Yeah, and that's what they say. We tend to sort of, I've seen other prediction videos and they run 4 or 5 hours long.
Oh, yeah.
We try and keep it to around about an hour maximum if we can, because we want this to be more of a short form, not so much like a deep analysis, like, on 30 minutes in on Raw or Collision, this happened and this. We're not kind of doing that. We're just kind of doing this as like, these are the basics.
And these are
how do you think this is going to go from here? And this kind of like playing fantasy booker, I guess, in a sense, and like I guess you could kind of liken it to fantasy league football and all that kind of lark, which I'm not into, but that's the kind of thing. So I just wanted to sort of bring that up and sort of make sure that if we do miss something, it's not on purpose, and if we think that we miss something relevant and important, drop it in the comments down below. We have no problem with that. Just be civil, be nice. Like I can't remember the chap's name we were talking to. To be fair, he was nice. He said he would sort of circle back around and give us another sort of watch. So hopefully you're with us again, and hopefully we won't miss anything this time, fingers crossed.
No promises.
No. 7 weeks is a long time to remember stuff from, unfortunately.
I can't even remember what happened this week in my own life.
So, one other thing I want to cover with this is the first pay-per-view, if you don't count Wrestle Dream, which was a joint venture between AEW, I want to say it was CMLL and New Japan. This is the first pay-per-view since October 1st, 2023, which was Wrestle Dream, that does not have an AEW World Championship match.
Oh, interesting.
Which is why, I mean, you think about that's a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
That's maybe 10, 12 pay-per-views, maybe. I should have probably counted that as well, but I didn't think to do that when I was writing the note up on that one.
Yeah.
But I was curious, obviously, because Moxley isn't defending his title on this event. He did defend it against Joe, which we'll cover a bit more of that later on when we talk about the different matches and that. But this is the first one in like a year and a half that has not had an AEW title match.
It shows sort of how much they value that championship and to get it on every show they can, pretty much, and still be defending it also on
Dynamite,
TV.
sometimes Collisions.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the fact that I think this isn't on the line on this particular event shows the high stakes that's going into the Anakin Arena match.
Yes, for
Again,
sure.
which we will cover later on. So let's get back on track. If you've seen these before, great, fantastic. We're glad to have you back with us. For those of you who haven't seen this before, we're just going to run through this very briefly. Usually what I would do is title matches and non-title matches separate. So I would do the non-title matches, least looking forward to most looking forward to, and then I would do the same with the title matches. With this one, because it's a bit of a mix and match of the Owen Hart tournament, the Anakin in the Arena, and title matches, I just blanket covered this one least looking forward to most looking forward to.
Ooh,
Straight
so
through.
not
Mixing them all in.
Okay.
Mixing them all up.
Cool.
Inadvertently, like most of the ones towards the back half are title matches. The last 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know the last 5, 4 of them are title matches, and one of them is the Anarchy match.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So let's let's get into this. So we've got one match announced thus far for the buy-in, for which is the pre-show, and that's going to be Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. Mm-hmm. So we've just finished watching last night's Collision after we finished work. So recording this, I'm going to definitely try and get this up tonight. I know it's going to be nuts. But on that event, they announced the obviously the hostilities between these 4 ladies are constantly going on since sort of end of April. Anna Jay returned. I think she had an incursion in Japan, or it might be an injury. I'm not 100% on the specifics of that one. Again, that was like 2 months ago, or over a month ago, month and a half. So she returned and she beat some local talent, and then Ford and Bayne came down and started beating up Anna Jay. It's like, okay, they're building up here. They're building, obviously, trying to build towards Anna Jay, maybe Penelope Ford, who have a bit of a history, or potentially towards Megan Bayne and Anna Jay. So then a week later, then we had Megan Bayne took on Harley Cameron.
Yeah.
And Megan Bayne won, obviously, as great as Harley Cameron is. It's Megan Bayne, it's the Megan sis, right? So after the match, again, Penelope Ford, Megan Bayne are beating down Harley Cameron. In comes Anna Jay with a wooden plank, slams it against Megan's back, if you can really call it a slam, but yeah, sure, why not? And Megan's just kind of like, what? Kind of turns around and Anna's like, uh-oh.
What fly landed on my back?
Pretty much, yeah. It kind of reminds me of Hobbs every time someone takes a chair to him. It's like, oh, you messed up. You know, goes to swing it again. Megan Bayne rips her out of her hands, manages to sort of bounce Megan Bayne over the ropes by pulling it down, whatnot. They kind of peg Penelope Ford and back out because Harley Cameron's getting back up. And it's kind of been running back in that kind of circle. And then it all kind of came to a head as well then when there was a fatal 4-way match with Toni Storm, who's been having quite a lot of matches recently. Again, we'll cover that in a bit. But this particular match was Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay in Women's World Championship Eliminator match. Toni Storm did win that match. But before that happened, Megan Bayne gets involved because it's a 4-way. There's no disqualifications. Obviously, she starts beating up on Anna Jay. In comes Harley Cameron with a metal pipe. Goes to attack Megan Bayne. Runs her out. They chase her to the back. Obviously, damage done. Toni Storm wins the match. So that's kind of, where we are with that one. There's been a couple of words back and forth from Harley Cameron and Anna Jay, where they're talking about different assets between the two of them, which I'm not going to repeat here. We're trying to keep this as family friendly as possible. But this kind of, I would have expected this to be announced a little bit sooner. I know a lot of people are upset that Megan Bayne was like going for the World Championship in the last event. I believe was she fighting the Dynasty? Yes. So Megan Bayne was challenging Toni Storm last month for the world title, and now she's on the pre-show, and a lot of people are unhappy about that. Okay. But they're still on the pay-per-view, and the pay-per-views have the pre-shows rather is still part of the pay-per-view, and at least there's wrestling on the pre-show. Yeah. Unlike WWE, which do 2-hour pre-shows and it's nothing but talking, there's actual matches, so they're getting the in-ring talent, they're getting the exposure. Yeah. I would much rather her be on the pre-show than not be on the pre-show. And it's not like the matches that have been on recent pre-shows have been throwaway matches. Nope. Even people aren't still filing in when matches on the pre-show tend to happen. They're already there because they want to see it. So that says something as well. I mean, last month's Dynasty, Max Caster had his open challenge and we saw the return of Anthony Bowens. Yeah. So that's not something small. I mean, obviously you did have Top Flight and AR Fox versus Crew and Nick Wayne. But again, that was still a great match. Yeah, exactly. That's again, it's exposure. It's for the people who may not be in the title pictures, who might not be in the main event picture, who might not be in the Owen Hart tournament in this particular case. They're still getting matches on the card. It doesn't matter if it's pre-show or not, because the pre-show is like a build-up. It's like let's get them anticipated for this pre-show pay-per-view. It's like a last-minute effort to go, right, we're watching this for free on YouTube, on Facebook, or whatever else it's on. Yeah. And it's the ones that are meant to draw people in. To buy that pay-per-view in the last minute. So they're going to put people they want to showcase, and so it's not throwaway. And who are they showcasing this one? Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford, Anna Jay, and Harley Cameron. It's going to be good. Yeah. The only reason this is sort of least looking forward to in that sense is because it's on the buy-in.
Yeah.
So we always, regardless of whether it's not the title match or the non-title match, and this was very late in Collision they announced it, so I had to kind of scribble it in the top of my notes. I was like, damn it. So, I mean, yeah, it's not necessarily that we're not looking forward to this match. It's more that it's on the buy-in, so we kind of treat it as a separate entity, despite the fact what I just said about it still being the pay-per-view. I still kind of treat it as a separate entity.
Yeah.
Is anything else for that one for you?
I don't think so.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Harley Cameron.
And Anna Jay?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Something about it just makes me think they're gonna get an underdog win potentially. I could be wrong. I think it's a hard one to call because Megan Bayne is like a powerhouse.
Yes.
But how much powerhouse can you be before they flip the script?
Yeah. I think I'm going to agree with that one. I think Anna Jay and Harley Cameron are going to win it. If anything, it won't be Megan Bayne taking the fall. It'll be Penelope Ford.
Yeah, for sure.
And as great as Penelope Ford is, she's obviously been in the company, I think since like day one, if not close to day one. And they're going to try and protect Megan Bayne and have as little amount of losses as possible on her record.
She's a smaller woman in the team, so it kind of makes sense.
And then this does kind of lead in then, well, Megan Bayne's PO'd. Penelope lost the match for them. She wants a rematch. She's going to go on a rampage, potentially even destroy Penelope Ford for losing the match for him, possibly, And it kind of just spins extra bits of the story thread all sort of through that.
Being on the buy-in, it might just end in no contest.
Maybe, yeah. I know Tony Khan's not a big fan of doing that, though.
No.
He definitely doesn't like disqualifications.
No.
There's been very limited amount of disqualifications in AEW. I think there's been a few countouts, but again, he'd rather have definitive.
Yeah, you don't want to
loser.
overdo the DQs and the countouts.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to move on to the main show then, and the first match we're going to talk about is for the finals of the Owen Hart Foundation Tournament women's side, which sees Mercedes Mone versus Jamie Hayter.
I wonder why this is your least looking forward to.
Mone, what, huh? So Mercedes Mone, in the course of the tournament, beat Julia Hart and then Athena to get to the finals, and Jamie Hayter beat Billy Starks and Chris Statlander. So, I mean, Athena made Mercedes Mone look good.
Yeah.
That shows how good Athena is, right?
Athena's great.
Athena can make a paper bag look good in the ring, let's be perfectly honest. And Jamie Hayter, obviously, Billy Starks, no, she's an up-and-comer. She's not particularly, I wouldn't say she's a veteran. She's being trained by Athena. They're obviously teaming as a sort of a thing together in Ring of Honor.
She's an up-and-comer, for sure.
Yeah. She's definitely got potential. And obviously, Chris Statlander, that was a hell of a fight too.
Yeah.
Since then, there's been a clear dislike between the two. Jamie Hayter really dislikes Mercedes Mone. Mercedes Mone is so self-entitled and she thinks she's owned everything when she's clearly not. And she just thinks that Jamie Hayter isn't on her level kind of thing. And there's been a few trade-offs back and forth with Mercedes Mone getting the upper hand one time. Jamie Hayter hit the Hayterade at one point.
Yeah.
And then obviously I think it was Collision last night. Yeah, Mercedes Mone took on a CMLL talent whose name escapes me right now. Something Isis.
I can't remember her first name.
Yeah.
She's good though.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, Monet wasn't going to lose that. Obviously, after the match, Jamie Hayter comes out. So does loads of security to keep them apart. Yeah. Yeah. But Jamie Hayter's like, I hit you with my Hayterade, so it's going to get you on Sunday. Looking forward to that. Yeah. I mean, the one other thing that we need to sort of focus on is Mercedes Mone is a belt lighter.
Yes.
At the Resurgence event, which I believe was May 9th, for New Japan Pro Wrestling, she lost her New Japan Strong Women's Championship to Azumi in a triple threat. So it was Azumi, Mercedes Mone, and Mina Shirakawa, who we'll talk about later. Mina Shirakawa lost to Azumi, therefore Mercedes Mone loses the belt, and she was not impressed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And obviously Jamie Hayter's been kind of like grinding that in a little bit. No, just so, rightly so. I mean, Jamie Hayter's fantastic. It's great to see her back. I think she had some visa issues, so after she came back from injury, she had to take a bit of a reprieve because of some visa issues, which is apparently also the case for Hikaru Shida, which is why we haven't seen her for so long, and Kota Ibushi. I've heard that they're having some issues with their visas. The Japanese offices, or whatever you want to sort of call it, are just taking their time with the visas. So that's why we haven't seen them. Have you got anything else to add to this one?
Only getting into sort of my opinions on it.
Yeah, go on.
Where it's sort of, I'm in a bit two minds because Mercedes losing a belt from her massive collection. On one sense, I'm thinking, once you lose one belt, that's the start of the downfall. You can lose the rest because you've lost the one. It's chipping away. But then the other part of me is saying she's lost one belt, so she's more determined, more dangerous.
Potentially.
But could being more determined, more dangerous mean also more careless,
more tunnel visioned,
make a mistake?
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Hayter, she's got something special at the moment in this iteration. I can't remember very well what she was like before personally, because my memory's bad.
It has been a while. She was out for a good long while,
time.
Well over a year.
But she's got such a unique look and flavour.
It's a 70s vibe at the moment.
I don't know whether she like needs a title right now, but I think she could hold one and do a great job with it.
I mean, the thing with the Owen Hart tournament is that you don't necessarily hold the title to carry it around.
Yeah.
It's like a trophy.
Yeah.
An award of sorts.
It's a massive trophy.
But then the winner does go on to face the Women's World Champion at All In.
That's the other sort of factor, is I'd be much more interested in seeing Jamie Hayter in that title picture, the actual title picture, you know?
Yes.
So I'm going to go... Do I make it my desired result? Because at the same time, it's Mercedes and she keeps getting pushed when we don't think she should. So that's
I'm still surprised New Japan or Stardom stripped that offer.
I think I'm going to do desired result, Jamie Hayter. I might regret that, but that's where I'm... Okay. It'll just be more interesting.
Yeah, I fully agree that it would be more interesting. Unfortunately, I think that Tony Khan, for some reason, has some sort of, I don't know, like vision of Mercedes Moné being this top quality, top tier athlete, face of the company when she's not.
You know what it is? The crowd keep cheering for her.
I don't know. It's just it's because it's 3 letters and it's easy to chant.
And it's in the music. So,
yeah. What do wrestling crowds love? Chanting along to music.
So if they keep chanting for her, Tony Khan's going to keep her in the picture because she gets people in.
The catch of that is, if Toni Storm is the champion at All In, she ain't going to get cheered.
No, very true.
So, I mean, on the back of that, I am going to pick Mercedes Moné, as much as I begrudge doing so.
Safe in your desired result.
Yeah, I hate betting against Jamie Hayter for this one, because Jamie Hayter is very much the better wrestler. And she's also a Brit.
Yeah.
And I hate going against a fellow Brit, especially against someone like Mercedes Moné.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I think it's...
That's what you think's going to happen? So that's what you
I was really hoping Athena would win.
Yeah.
And it looked so many times like she was going to. I was very disappointed with that outcome. Cool. Next up then is a trios match, which was also made last night on Collision, which sees Paragon, which is Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly, taking on the Don Callis families, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh Alexander was the wild card in the Owen Hart men's tournament, which we'll touch on later when we talk about the finals for that. And I kind of saw it coming when Speedball turned up for the Dynasty tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I said to you, it's either going to be Mike Bailey or it's going to be Josh Alexander. It ended up being Mike Bailey. It was only a matter of time before Josh Alexander joined because I knew his TNA contract had expired. Josh Alexander, superb athlete.
Yeah. Such
a great talent in the ring, the walking weapon. And, you know, unfortunately, Don Callis got his hooks in.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got Trent has returned as well.
Yes.
So Trent was formerly indoctrinated, shall we say, into the Don Callis family. Then he was out with an injury. And Rocky Romero's also turned the conglomeration, joined up with Don Callis. So there's a few new members and a few returning member in the Don Callis family. And they've been running roughshod.
Yeah.
Whenever there's been a Don Callis family match, the Journey all coming out, Lance Archer's coming out. Brian Cage obviously is still out with an injury at the moment. Otherwise, they're probably in the tag title scene. This was supposed to be for last month's Dynasty pay-per-view. But, yeah, they've just been kind of running roughshod on everyone, kind of beating people up, taking names, kicking ass, you know. So Fletcher beat Jay Lethal. I had to think about that one on last night's Collision. And the family, Don Callis family, jumps in, starts attacking Jay Lethal. Out comes Paragon. Adam Cole's on commentary. He gets up on the apron Out come the rest of Paragon and kind of run off the Don Callis family. Then Paragon have their match against Grizzled Young Veterans. And then after the match, Adam Cole was like, you know what? I'm tired of seeing the Don Callis family sort of running roughshod and trying to beat people up and think, they can run this place. How about we throw out a challenge? Paragon versus any three of the Don Callis family.
Mm-hmm.
Next match comes on. I think it was Kyle Fletcher and AR Fox. Don Callis is once again on commentary. God, it was so heavy with Don Callis last night.
Oh, yeah.
And he accepts. And
Yep.
he says, not only are you going to get 3 members of the Don Callis family, you're going to get the 3 top hitters of the Don Callis family, the 3 superstars of the Don Callis family. Konosuke Takeshita, Josh Alexander, and Kyle Fletcher. That's pretty much all we got in terms of build-up on that one. But, and that's kind of, this is going to be an absolutely amazing match.
Yes.
Absolute, no doubt whatsoever. For the lack of that, this could have been built up over a couple of
It
weeks.
could have, yeah.
I feel it's a bit like last-minute shoehorned, which, sometimes isn't necessarily a bad thing. But
Yeah.
I feel this one especially could have benefited from a bit more of a build-up.
Yeah, it's like someone's like, you know what would be cool?
Yeah, exactly.
And they just went with it.
We don't have any 6-man tags on this card. We need a 6-man tag.
Yeah.
Have you got any thoughts on that one?
It's going to be great. These are all great guys.
You know what I am loving, actually, now that they've changed into Paragon and whatnot?
Uh-huh.
Kill Switch.
Yes.
Yeah, hearing that Kill Switch song.
Such good
it's like,
entrance
yes,
music.
let's go.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to add, really.
What you got?
I'm going to go with the Don Callis family on the vein of they haven't had the build-up, so this could be the beginning of some build-up for something else.
Okay, yeah. I agree with that. I don't know if potentially Adam Cole will take the hit on the pinfall. But if he does, it will certainly lead into, well, I just beat the TNT champion.
Yeah.
I deserve a title match. And any 3 of those guys could literally go and pin Adam Cole and go, I want a title match.
Yeah.
And they will be deserving of said title match.
Very true.
That's kind of how I see that progressing down.
Definitely.
Cool. Okay, next up then is another tag match. And we have Nigel McGuinness and Daniel Garcia taking on FTR. So, FTR... obviously the bad guys now, especially for the bit of the Cope. Was that last month? I think it was last month, wasn't it? Yes, it was. There was a dynasty where they turned on Adam Copeland, put him out with an injury. I don't think he is actually injured. I think they're just kind of giving some time off, leading into the storyline as well. Then they started kind of mirroring it with Danny Garcia, where he gets in the ring behind one of FTR and they just kind of shove him down. And he's like, oh God, I'm so sorry, I didn't know it was you. And they pick him up and it's like, hey, But then they kind of flip it and they start attacking him, and for some reason they just get really hot with him. Tony Schiavone is then obviously on commentary along with Nigel McGuinness, and they kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ribbing on or slagging off, kind of putting down the recent actions of FTR.
Yes, but speaking the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I know there's gonna be someone out there going, oh, but they're doing the same thing that you hate with WWE, but that's different. Because they're clearly doing it from a standpoint of, well, Gunther wasn't necessarily doing
despicable
evil things,
yes.
Whereas FTR clearly are.
Yes.
It's
a different... It's one thing being biased by praising someone and putting down someone who's just doing their job.
Yeah.
To putting down someone's actions and not condoning someone's actions who's
and
attacking people for no reason.
And do you know what the other biggest thing about that is? Pat McAfee's not a wrestler. Nigel McGuinness is.
Yeah, legit.
It's not Tony Schiavone and Daniel Garcia.
Didn't the AEW stuff start first?
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah, I think it did.
Just a little tidbit there.
Because it's been a bit of a long boom with this one, yeah. So then obviously FTR are kind of threatening Tony and kind of threatening Nigel, and they send this letter. Kind of like, can we just all get along and move past this? We're really sorry for sort of putting our hands on you and threatening you.
There's a lot of gaslighting going on.
There is a lot of gaslighting, yeah.
I don't like using that word, but I think it's appropriate in this case.
There's a point where Tony was in the ring and it looked like FTR were going to beat the hell out of him. And Nigel McGuinness gets in and he's like, Tony, stay behind me. And it's like, oh my God, they're definitely building up to Nigel McGuinness getting back in the ring, and here we are. Obviously, Daniel Garcia came down and kind of helped out with that, as did Daddy Magic at some point. And there was an interview then with Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness, and out comes Stokely Hathaway, and he's kind of stoking those embers, stoking the fires. Yeah, I did that on purpose. Stoking that fire, trying to get a reaction, and he kind of issues the challenge. How about you guys take on the best tag team in the world, FTR. And Nigel McGuinness is like, no, can't do it. I'm retired. Danny's like, come on, man, seriously? I'll have to take him on myself otherwise.
Yeah, I'm going to take him on with or without you, isn't it?
With or without you. And then the next week on Collision, Nigel McGuinness is like, right, okay, you know what? I thought about it, and you're in. I'm in. Dan, you got yourself a partner, but be prepared because this is going to be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had, obviously, the in-ring segment last night in Collision. They pretty much said the same thing. This isn't going to be a match. This is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
This is going to be blood for blood. And when I can't remember, I think it was Dax. So that once this is all over, your blood isn't on my hands, it's on your hands for stepping back in this ring. You're retired. You should have stayed retired. You should have taken the challenge of Stokely throughout. I'm going to make you sorry to think that.
Yeah.
To accept it, you know?
You take no responsibility.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But then obviously they quickly devolved into a bit of a brawl, which had Danny Garcia. I think it was, I want to say it was a sharpshooter.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a Boston Crab. I can't remember exact specifics. But then Nigel McGuinness had Dax in, I think it was like an armbar or some sort of hammerlock.
Some kind of
and they were both tapping out quite vigorously.
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting.
Because Nigel McGuinness was keeping Stokely under control.
Yeah. But this is definitely going to be interesting because like Nigel McGuinness hadn't wrestled up until All In last August.
Yes.
Then he took on Bryan Danielson.
I
think he was in like early October, maybe in late September. And that's no easy feat to do either. Like Bryan Danielson is like obviously one of the best, but he hasn't wrestled since then.
No,
but I have no doubt he's been going to the ring, into the certain rings or keeping in shape and whatnot. So this is going to be interesting to see how him and Daniel Garcia gel.
Yeah,
I'm quite looking forward to this. Any other thoughts? If not, who you got?
Well, I can't see any sort of long burn happening now with Nigel McGuinness. He is retired.
The long burn has been what we've seen the last couple of
months. He's doing one-offs.
Month and a half, yeah.
And for that reason, I think that he and Daniel Garcia win.
Yeah.
To put a full stop on this.
Okay. So Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, cool. And then maybe there's like shenanigans and some other people come out to help, and then FTR focus their attentions then on other people potentially. Yeah.
So I agree. Nigel McGuinness, Daniel Garcia, because that kind of stokes the heel move of FTR.
Every time.
What other word can I use? Seriously. Lost my train of thought now.
You're welcome. Nigel McGuinness winning because it.
They win. It fans the flames of this heel turn, and they start getting beaten down. Maybe FTR will use a chair, and it looks like they're going to do another concerto. You think you know him. Out comes Colt for the save. Yeah. I think that's how we're going to see this go.
Sweet.
It's been 7 weeks since Dynasty. It's been 7 weeks since the attack on Copeland. I think this is probably a time to bring him back.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good little like, oh, let's go, Copeland's back, you know.
Nice.
Cool. Next up, then we've got Mark Briscoe, and he's going to be taking on Ricochet in a stretcher match.
The first ever in AEW. You were going to say that, right? I was just contributing.
I was going to say that, yes.
You're welcome.
The first ever stretcher match in AEW history, and seeing as the companies, but this is the 6th Double or Nothing, they've been around for about 7 years, or just about. The Double or Nothing was the first one, so they're all in. So that's my mistake. 6 years. That's quite good. They haven't just sort of jumped on every little gimmick they can get. Ooh, what can we do this week? Ambulance match, stretcher match, this match, that match. They keep them for special events that kind of merit it.
Yes.
The downside is, does this match really merit it?
I was trying to think, where is the stretcher aspect come from? Did someone just say, "I'm gonna put you in an ambulance," and then they're like, "Oh yeah, let's do that," where they have to put them in an ambulance?
So the only, and again, if I miss something, that's not on purpose. There's been 7 weeks of different shenanigans and whatnot going on,
and they do sometimes do stuff on social media, or on Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I mean, that does include Ricochet taking Zach Gowen's leg.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that whole sequence was great.
And having a match with a one-legged man.
He was so good.
Zach Gowen is talented.
So good.
Super talented.
And he got his leg back. So.
And obviously Briscoe came out at the end of the match just to kind of make the save for that, if I remember correctly. But the only other interaction I can remember is when they had this all-star 8-man tag, and it was Ricochet, the Bucks, and Okada, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Against, I want to say Briscoe, I want to say Swerve was there. Mike Bailey, and maybe it was AR Fox. I don't remember specifics. That was like over a month ago. That's the only time I can think of Mark Briscoe and Ricochet being in any sort of contact with each other.
Yeah.
So I don't quite understand where the stretcher match is coming from.
No.
And
usually there would have been like an ambulance in the background or something, and they happen to be brawling next to it, and like, there's an idea for next time.
And this has all been part of the leading into Anakin in the Arena with the Elite and the Death Riders, and obviously Ricochet kind of picking his side of this particular war, as it were. But I don't know if this one merits the stretcher match, but the only reason this is so high up on, I say high up, is what the midway point of my most looking forward to is because of the stipulation. Stretcher match, you don't get them very often.
I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen one, but I cannot remember.
I don't recall.
I don't think I would have.
I don't recall. I don't think WWE's done one for a long time. I mean, that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Ricochet's a hell of a talent.
Yes.
Mark Briscoe's a hell of a talent.
Mm-hmm.
I just get really bored of him quite quickly, unfortunately.
He's used an awful lot. I think when he came out for the save, it was like, oh, here comes the hero of everything. Because he always seems to be the one saving the day. And it's like, okay,
You're not wrong.
Nice.
You're not wrong.
Ricochet is the heel character. I've never before really imagined him as a heel, and he's just fallen into it so well and gone above and beyond. He stole a man's leg. Come on.
I mean, he's been using scissors to stab people with as well, you know.
It's going to be a really fun match. But like you say, it's having that where did it come from in the back of your head.
Yeah.
That's fine.
In the back of your bald head. And if anyone can get being bowled over, apparently it's Ricochet. That's just been crazy. You are bald is a chant I never thought I would hear.
And we hear it all the time.
All the time. Who you got?
Briscoe.
You go for Briscoe?
Yeah, he's the hero of everything.
Any reason why? Just because he's the hero of everything?
It's just going to get pushed. It's fine. I mean, Ricochet's not going to play fair. There's no DQ. He can do what he wants. He's going to use the scissors. He's going to find a way to cheat his way into it. Yeah.
I'm going Ricochet.
Okay.
I'm going Ricochet because I feel that if they were to push Briscoe over Ricochet, it would really stunt Ricochet's momentum. Especially in something like this where he can cheat legally.
Fair enough.
Where he can use weapons legally.
I did realise that in my explanation I was kind of seeing why Ricochet was going to win. I don't know what happened in my brain then, but you carry on.
I mean, that's pretty much it. I think that it would be stupid to pull that wind out of his sails now. He's just been teaming with Elite and the Death Riders. True. It doesn't matter if they lost because it might not have been him taking the pinfall.
Yeah.
But he's teaming with the top dogs in the company. He's teaming with the EVPs, the people who own the company, or run the company. And if you have him lose to someone like Mark Briscoe now, who is literally inserted into everything and anything just for the hell of it, I feel that would really stunt his rise. And I don't want to see that. Cool. I'm loving heel Ricochet. I think it's great.
It's very good, yeah. He's really gotten into robes.
Yeah, it's fun. Next up then, for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, we see the Hurt Syndicate defending against the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. So, numerous teams have sort of been obviously challenging for the titles over the last few months, and Hurt Syndicate just keep on beating them down and beating them down. I think it was with the Outrunners. No, it was Big Bill and Brian Keith of Dynasty. Outrunners was that? Yeah, that was Revolution. So, I mean, they're not exactly small teams. Big Bill, 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that. Outrunners are massive and humongous. They're just really jacked guys, and they're fantastic. Wasn't there time to obviously win the title run, especially when you've got Bobby Lashley, who's a specimen, and Shelton Benjamin, and the newest member of the Hurt Syndicate, MJF.
Yay!
He's clearly going to be there. He's definitely going to be at ringside with MVP. But sort of go back around to how this all came about. MVP did make an announcement. So many teams have sort of been asking for title matches. That there should be, I think, if I remember rightly, Dustin and Sammy came out and started saying we want a title match, with the Ring of Honor tag title holders. Dustin's 1/3 of the 6-man title holders for Ring of Honor. Out comes the Crew saying, what have you even done? You haven't won any matches recently on Dynamite or Collision. We deserve a match. And MVP was like, how about we have a number 1 contender match? You guys face each other on Collision. Winner takes on the Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Obviously then. We know who's won already. Sons of Texas win the match. Therefore, they become the number 1 contenders. So, I mean, Then I believe it was Dynamite it was Dynamite when they were doing the MJF contract signing thing. Sons of Texas come out, start cutting this really fired up promo. We've been here since day one. We are the ass kickers. We've bled, we sweat, we've cried, we've done everything for this company, and we are going to take those belts. And it was quite a fired up, impassioned promo by Dustin.
Yeah.
Did stumble over a couple of words. He did repeat a couple of things, but it's to be expected. It's live audience. Sometimes nerves can kick in, whatever. But yeah, no, I think this could be a really good match, and I'm really looking forward to this one, to be honest. It's just there's so many other great matches that are coming up that it's hard to. It was really hard to figure out where to put these last sort of 5-6 matches in. Any other thoughts from you?
I think it's going to be a tough one to call because there's some outside influences at play. So part of me is wondering if, as soon as MJF has entered the team, if they lose those titles, does MJF even want to stay? And does it play on that whole trying to get out of the contract and loopholes and all this sort of thing? So that could be an interesting angle. I don't think it's the one they'll go for, but it came to mind as something that could be an interesting thing to do. I think it's more likely MJF will assist in.
Well, we've already seen him
Syndicate
assist.
get the wing.
He helped Big Bill and Brian Keith. Well, I say he helped Big Bill and Brian Keith lose as well.
He just helped him along a little bit.
He was integral to the part of them losing last month of Dynasty.
So he proves his worth again. And maybe the storyline then is that he's not really getting the rub from his part in the win. He's not getting the glory for it, that kind of thing. It's not going to be a very happy relationship in that Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah.
It already looks like he's maybe just there to do the dirty work kind of thing. So I think it's going to be Hurt Syndicate to win as a result of MJF probably getting involved.
Yep.
It's going to be good though.
Yeah.
What's it? The Sons of Texas. It's a hard name to get stuck in my head, but great team. They're both
absolutely
amazing and such different wrestlers.
Very
as well.
diverse. Yeah.
So it's going to be a great match either way.
I'm really stoked to see Sammy Guevara on a pay-per-view again.
Yeah, it's been ages.
Obviously, there was that incident with Jeff Hardy, and he kind of got suspended over that. He's been in Ring of Honor. He did appear at All In on the pre-show. But it's good to see him kind of going back up, and people just start cheering for him again. Oh, Sammy's back. Yeah, great. That's awesome. And Sammy's great. But unfortunately, I think you're right. I think Hurt Syndicate are retaining. I think, again, much like Ricochet, I don't think it's right time to have Hurt Syndicate lose right now. They've got momentum. They've got plenty of momentum. Bobby Lashley's a beast. Sean Benjamin's a beast. Yeah. Cedric Alexander's probably going to turn up at some point soon because he was obviously released from WWE not long ago. Once his 90 days is up, he's probably going to be joining as well. So it'll be interesting to see how we go with this. But I definitely think Sons of Texas, whilst they are great, they've already got 3 belts between them. Yes. Obviously, Dustin's holding 2, Sammy's holding 1. I think adding more to that would kind of encroach on Mercedes Moné's gimmick, and she'd probably throw a fit.
Can you imagine, though, after all of Bobby Lashley looking down on MJF and acting like he's not good enough to then lose the title in front of him? Can you imagine? It's not going to happen.
It'll be a case of Bobby's like, I'm sick of you getting involved in my matches. We don't need you to do that.
Yeah.
And the first time that happens, they will lose, and then he'll be like, damn it.
Told you so.
Yep, pretty much. Okay, so next up then, we've got another women's match. We've been spoiled for women on this card. There's
spoiled for women.
4 matches with women on it.
That's pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Defending the AEW Women's World Championship, we see timeless Toni Storm taking on Mina Shirakawa. So, as mentioned, Mina Shirakawa was involved in Mercedes Moné losing her New Japan Strong Women's Championship. She did make a return after that to Dynamite in a 4-way, what do you call them? Eliminator. Yeah, women's eliminator match. It was a 4-way, fatal 4-way. So, I'm losing my plot of words now. It's a fatal 4-way women's title eliminator match. So, therefore, if they lost, they weren't entitled to a match for the women's championship. If they won, they get the title match. And spoiler alert, Mina wins the match.
Yeah.
You had Toni Storm, Mina Shirakawa, you had Sky Blue, and Julia Hart. No, wait, hang on. Is it Julia? Where's my notes? Hang on, I've lost it somewhere. Azumi, sorry. So Toni Storm, Azumi, Sky Blue, Mina Shirakawa. The biggest thing in that match for me was obviously Sky Blue's returning. She looks great.
Yes.
She's got a full sleeve of tattoos. She looks amazing.
Mhm.
Looks like she hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, she's
No
doing
ring
great.
rush. She looks phenomenal. Azumi's obviously the new strong women's champion. She looked
Yes.
great, obviously. Mina Shirakawa always looks great in the ring
yeah.
because she's so talented. And obviously Toni Storm.
Mhm.
I've just gone through all four of them. But the biggest takeaway in this is Mina Shirakawa not only won the match, she won it by pinning the champion.
She did.
She won it by pinning Toni Storm.
Mhm.
So if she'd beaten Azumi or Sky Blue, it would have been like, okay, cool. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, she's got the match. This will have to play into Toni Storm's into her head, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just got beat. It's the first, I'm pretty sure this is the first four-way eliminators match that she's lost ever.
Yeah, I think
Because they were
did
making
make
a
point
big
of
deal
that.
about it.
Mhm.
You know, and she's been having loads of matches over the last few weeks against all comers.
Yeah.
Dynamite and Collision, all these different eliminator matches, singles matches, four-way matches. And this is the first one she loses to a returning Mina Shirakawa, who is now, by the way, All Elite.
Yes.
She's finally signed her All Elite Wrestling contract.
Whee!
So, match is obviously made for Double or Nothing. And this will actually be a rematch from Forbidden Door 2024,
Mhm.
which is interesting. Obviously, when Mariah May was part of the whole equation as well.
Yes.
Mina did beat Julia Hart on Dynamite in a one-on-one match. And she was jumped by Sky Blue. Because
Mhm.
obviously Julia Hart and Sky Blue were kind of in, well, they were in cahoots. Looks like they still are,
Yeah.
in a sense. And she was saved by Toni Storm.
Yes.
Before things turned violent between the two of them, and Mina Shirakawa put her in a figure four on the ring post.
That was interesting.
Whoops. Yeah. We did get a promo on Collision as well from Toni Storm, of which I will not really have to hear because it's probably not that PG friendly.
No.
But yeah, this has been really interesting. It's not necessarily been a massive build up, but the merit is that Mina's been wrestling, Toni's been wrestling. Mina beat Toni in a match.
Yeah.
Holy bleep, what just happened?
Yeah.
You know? Any thoughts?
I think you pretty much said it all. I mean, both these women are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of history. There's a lot of personal feeling in there, which always comes into play. And it's going to be a really good match.
There was the turnaround when Mina debuted back at AEW for this four-way. There was some different music that she came out to.
Oh, yeah.
The social media networks just went nuclear of like, what the hell is this? This is awful. Tony Khan was paying attention, and when she won the match, she had her little music back.
Yeah.
Somebody went, did Tony Khan just hear what we said and flip the music back? And he literally responded, yes, I did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Tony did reference it on commentary the next time she was there, didn't she?
Do you know who wouldn't have done that?
Mm.
Triple H or Vince McMahon.
No, they just stuck with
saying,
it.
Just saying.
We know best.
In that the case, who do you got winning?
I don't think Tony's going to lose. I think she's going to retain.
Tony retain?
Yeah, Tony to retain. I think that there might be some option for them to tag in the future against Sky Blue and Julia Hart. I can't see, I don't know, I just can't see Tony losing right now. And I think maybe bouncing back off the loss in the Eliminator match should take the upper hand, and maybe they'll have a rubber match then to see who gets best out of three.
Tony Storm won the last match, so it wouldn't be best out of three, would it?
Best out of four, best out of five.
It'd
I don't
be
know.
best out-
Scrap
yeah,
that.
I mean, yeah. So
My memory strikes again.
if Tony wins this, she's won both matches for the title.
Okay.
Because she was the
Oh
champion.
yeah, for the title.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it.
I'm going with Tony Storm. And on the vein of the tag team match, what would they call themselves? Dance Storm? Because Amina's
Oh,
dancing.
there's got to be a word for a lady's chest.
You know what?
there.
Let's not go
So,
there.
This is Tony Storm we're talking about.
Yeah, true. Now, one thing that pops in my head
hmm
is I don't quite know how I'm formulating this as I'm speaking, so this is kind of interesting. What if Tony Storm retains via outside interference?
hmm Who would interfere?
Mariah May.
Ooh.
She did have the feud with Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah.
They kind of broke up as best friends.
hmm
Obviously, they did have a match for the title when Mariah May was champion.
Interesting.
That could circle around. Mariah May has been absent since she lost the title to Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Somebody did mention something on social media, and Mariah May hit back with, God forbid that someone actually take a vacation. Because people are speculating she's going to WWE.
Oh. Yeah.
But this could be...
Wait, it's a cat.
This could be an integral way to get Mariah May back into straight into a storyline, not just bring her back and go, right, let's fight some local talent, you know, because Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa have a very storied history together.
Yes.
So I think we could see Mariah May coming back. Cool. And on the advent of the cat, we'll move on to the next match.
Yeah.
Which sees for the defending the Continental Championship, we see Kazuchika Okada defending against Speedball Mike Bailey. I just said defending twice in one sentence. Okay.
He's really defending it.
Yeah, he's really defending it. I'm not going to say it out loud, just in case there is any youngsters watching. So, yeah, again, this kind of come up with the, much like the Ricochet and Mark Briscoe match, they were involved in this all-star kind of eight-man tag match. So there was a bit of contact between Okada and Speedball. It's kind of spilled out a little bit on that, with Okada coming down to help the Elite, even the numbers, when they've been sort of in a fight, and Swerve has been jumping in, and the Opps have been jumping in. Okada comes out, obviously, to help them. Speedball Mike Bailey comes out, runs off Okada, which leads into Mike Bailey kind of issuing a challenge, saying, you know, I wanna fight you for the Continental Championship. You know, how about we make it official, Double or Nothing? And on Dynamite, I think it was, it might have been Collision. No, it was Dynamite. Okada in backstage having an interview, and he's like, you know what? You don't make the challenges. I am the champion. I make the challenges. I'm challenging you.
I don't think that's quite how it works, but okay.
It's Okada. He can do what he wants.
Yeah,
he's the Rainmaker.
very true.
And I kind of like that sort of the champion flipping that, and I really do like Okada. He doesn't say much, but when he does, it's like, oh, this is great.
Oh, it's gold every time.
Solid gold, you know. Then last night on Collision, we did see Mike Bailey in action, tagging with Commander against Dralistico and Roosh. They pick up the win, and straight after the match, as Mike Bailey's celebrating and the music's playing, the coin drops, out comes the Rainmaker, who's dyed his hair. Just saying. It looks fine, looks good.
Yeah, it's fine.
And Speedball takes the fight to him, knocks him down off the apron, slams him down, takes the belt, and kind of walks out with the belt to end the show. That's pretty much all there is. But oh my god, this match is going to be straight fire. Speedball has really blazed a trail since joining AEW.
He really has.
And Okada's just top quality athlete all the way around.
There's not many wrestlers who can come into a company kind of fresh for most people and just steal the imagination in like 1-2 matches.
I do still wish he wears shoes.
But they help him grip the ropes when he climbs.
But it also reduces his grip on the canvas. So, yeah. Anything else you want to say this one?
It's going to be great.
Who you got?
Okada.
Okada?
Yeah, I think Speedball is a contender. Is it too soon for a championship? Probably. Maybe. In my opinion, he could still do some stuff without a championship before getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure of his New Japan or his Indies history, if he has held titles before. I don't know that much about Speedball. I might have to look into that, actually. But he certainly didn't look bad holding the Continental Championship walking out. But I think you're right. His promos probably need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Not to say he's bad at promos, but I just feel that he's a bit...
He's not quite...
basic.
Got it.
Yeah. The promo's always a bit basic.
Yeah.
There's no depth, no serious emotion. He just kind of stands there and he kind of talks to the camera. Whenever, I mean, Okada, you could say this about him, but his that's part of his gimmick. That's part of his character.
And he's got the facial expression.
And he does show emotion. He does show expression. He does have those facial emotions, as you say. But I agree. I think Okada's going to retain. I don't think it's quite time, and I don't think Speedball is the right one to pull the title off him.
No.
But this match will be straight fire. This is going to be phenomenal. Okay, next up, and I haven't got any notes for this because it's just been carnage. The Anarchy in the Arena match, which sees Kenny Omega, Willow Nightingale, Swerve Strickland, Powerhouse Hobbs, Katsuyori Shibata, and Samoa Joe taking on the champion Jon Moxley, Marina Shafir, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, the Young Bucks. Oh my god. Oh my god, what the hell? This match is insane.
Yeah.
And again, like we said earlier, Moxley is the current champion. It's the first time since October 2023 that this title has not been defended on this card. Kenny Omega is also not defending his title. He did defend it last month, I believe. against it was a 3-way Ricochet and Mike Bailey. So it's a shame when you don't have singles titles being defended, but with something like this, something with an integral storyline that has been woven in for the last month and a half, it kind of does track. And we did see an AEW title match with Samoa Joe and Jon Moxley. So this has been going back and forth. Obviously, Moxley won the title from Bryan Danielson in October 2024. He's held the title in that briefcase since that point. Hello, Rex.
Or has he?
Or has he, yeah. Since that point, we have to kind of take on face value that it is in that briefcase.
Yeah.
And obviously the Death Riders, they were the Trios champions for the longest time. Pac has, I think it was his ankle, it might be his knee, I'm pretty sure it was his ankle he's injured. So he's out. So I feel that if it wasn't for that, Death Riders would still hold the Trios championships. Unfortunately, because of that, they had to switch. What's what I'm looking for? Course. Yeah, they had to adjust.
Course, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously the Opps are the new Trio champions. It was supposed to be Hook. Hook came down with some sort of weird situation in the ring where he was vomiting in the ring after his match. And he was still trying to get the storyline over with the Death Riders and whatnot.
Yeah.
So then there's obviously the Trios matches made for the week later between Katsuya Shibata, Samoa Joe, and Hook against the Death Riders.
Yep.
Hook can't go. They do this whole the Death Riders beat him down before the show. You don't see anything. They just say that they beat him down. They can't go tonight because he's not medically cleared. And Death Riders like, we've got this. Ha ha ha. We took out your guy. Out comes Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah.
They probably would have been better off having Hook in the match because Powerhouse is exactly that. He is a powerhouse. Oh, don't throw up on me, Rex.
He's trying to be Hook. No,
Are you okay? Are you okay?
We interrupt this program for some cat maintenance.
Yeah. What? That looked like he was going to throw up all over me.
It's okay.
So obviously the Death Riders aren't very happy with this, but the Elite seem to be for some reason teaming with the Death Riders, and we don't quite know why. I can only surmise that this has something to do with the paperwork they were shredding.
Yeah.
But it might not be that in depth. Maybe they just see the Death Riders as good for the company. I don't know. Swerve obviously has exception with the Elite after they screwed him out of the title win last month at Dynasty against Jon Moxley. So I mean that's kind of how that's coming around. Obviously Kenny's still got that beef with them because of the whole kicking him out of the Elite when he had diverticulitis. You don't show up for work. We don't even know what's going on with you. You're out of the Elite. Kenny's obviously still a bit annoyed at that.
Yeah.
And it's good to see them mixing in the women with this one as well.
Oh, yeah.
Marina Shafir is an integral part. She's always hitting the guys. The guys can't hit her back because that would be man or woman violence. What do? Get Willow Nightingale involved. What a neutralizer for Marina Shafir.
Yep.
Fantastic.
And to be fair, they do a really good job of like getting around the men aren't going to hit the women thing and still making it not seem really unnatural.
Yeah.
Which is good to see.
Yeah, which is great.
Have we had a woman in the Anarchy in the Arena match before?
Not that I remember.
Breaking down walls.
Yep, that's AEW for you.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, it's so much chaos and carnage. If I literally wrote down everything that happens in this feud and the amount of times they start beating each other up, I'd be here till Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, we'd be here till past the pay-per-view, still doing our predictions. So that's basic cliff notes for it. There was another brawl that occurred. Oh, actually, yeah. So the one thing we do need, the elephant in the room, and I may be wearing this shirt on purpose because of it. In the match with Joe and Mox in the steel cage, the Death Riders were neutralized.
Yeah.
The Opps come out, neutralize Death Riders. Then someone comes in, grabs the briefcase from down Marina Shafir. I think she was down. I still remember Willow sort of put her in her place. Grabs the briefcase. He's got a hood up. It's like, what the hell is this? I instantly recognized him because the camera lingered a bit too long.
Yeah.
Throws in the briefcase. Moxley uses it. Beats Joe to retain the title. Pulls the hood down. It's only Gabe Kidd of the Bullet Club War Dogs. Like, what the hell is going on here? Gabe Kidd's in AEW? What's going on?
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier because there was another brawl that took place on Dynamite. Well, again, after the sort of the Joe made the threat to the Elite, the Young Bucks, and Death Riders that they were going to get their hands on them by the end of the show. as the show sort of wrapping up after the last match, which was, I believe, Mina and Julia Hart, the Young Bucks are leaving the arena. I can't remember which of the interviews it was. Go up to them, Nicholas, Matthew, what do you think about this threat by Samoa Joe they made earlier? And they're like, oh yeah, well, it's the end of the show. We're going home, and they still haven't gotten to us. So clearly, Joe's a pathological liar. Then all of a sudden, from behind the curtain, behind the interviewer, Joe walks out with a trash can, and a whole brawl starts ensuing. Looks like that the Opps and the good guys per se are on the winning foot. Out comes Gabe Kidd. Here we go again. This man is dangerous.
Yes.
He's a madman, don't you know?
Madman.
And we were talking about this during Collision, because I said, I wonder how Gabe Kidd is coming over now. And it does make sense if you think about the Best of Super Juniors tournament is still taking place. There's only the lightweights, the under that sort of weight limit, taking place in the events at the moment.
Yeah.
The Best of Super Juniors.
So it's a good opportunity to go and
spread his wings a little bit.
Some other stuff.
Yeah. So obviously, someone like David Finlay, the leader of the Bullet Club at the moment, might be taking some well-earned time off.
Yeah.
Gabe Kidd's like, no, I want to keep competing. I want to go to other places. And they probably went, how about AEW? Inject yourself in this. And that could be a deciding factor into this entire thing.
Yeah, I think it will be.
Because there will be another man on the team of the Death Riders. But what if the Opps and Kenny are calling in favors from other New Japan stars?
Yeah, anything is possible.
Which
is going to make this one very hard to call.
I can't remember if. Okay, so have you got any other thoughts on this while I'm looking this up briefly?
There's a really good history in AEW with these Anarchy in the Arena matches and Stadium Stampede before that.
Yes.
It's great to see they're still doing it and they're still trying to change things up. It's not the same guys every time. So it's always a fun match. It's strange because we've been in the arena one time for one.
Yeah, we were in Wembley Stadium.
It's really weird being in the arena because you can only see a very small amount of what's happening. Yeah. But being at home, you're obviously following the main action on the camera.
Split cameras as well, usually.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting difference that actually the people at home are probably getting a better show than the people in the arena for these ones. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
So, Osaka Joe Hall. On June 15th, Gabe Kidd is challenging the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion Yota Tsuji for the title. I'm wondering if they've got enough stroke to pull over Yota Tsuji to neutralize Gabe Kidd. I don't know.
Kind of set
it would depend
match.
On visas and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yota Tsuji, I can't remember him being at Resurgence. I don't know if he's ever wrestled outside of Japan. I don't think he's been on any AEW shows at this point. But being the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion, that might be something that Tony Khan would like to do. And obviously Forbidden Doors coming up down the line, which features a lot of the New Japan guys. Who's to say we don't get Yota Tsuji at that? I mean, we got Naito last year.
Yeah.
Who's obviously no longer a part of New Japan Wrestling. Alternatively, maybe Bushi, who's also a member, former member as it stands right now, of Los Ingobernables de Japón.
Yeah.
Same faction that Yota Tsuji was part of. So there is obviously other members of New Japan that could possibly come over, take out Gabe Kidd, neutralize Gabe Kidd, but that's only speculation at the moment. If there's nothing else, who you got with him?
It's tough. I keep thinking at some point it's going to have to be the downfall of Team Moxley.
Yeah.
But I thought that with Cope when he basically took out everyone else and it still didn't end things. So it's making me think that this might not be the end of it, especially with Gabe Kidd in his corner. But it's such a tough one to call because literally anything could happen in these matches. I'm going to go with Team Moxley to win.
Okay.
Ooh, you got thoughts. You can't get to the paper because there's a cat on it. Come on.
Good boy.
He just wants to be involved. Don't you?
So, Gabe Kidd is the former strong openweight champion. That's currently held by Tomohiro Ishii, who won it not long ago. I'm going to ask this question. I don't know if you know the answer to it, but who did Gabe Kidd take that title from?
I don't know.
Eddie Kingston.
Who
was injured in that match and may be ready to come back, possibly.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in ages.
Because he's been injured.
Yeah.
Apparently the timeline was for May.
Okay.
Eddie Kingston might show up. So, I mean,
well, that would change
even
things.
even on the sort of without the back of that, I'm going for Team Kenny.
Cool.
I think that John Moxley's had that title for 7 months. We've not
Yes.
seen that title for 7 months. Thankfully, we have one of those titles. It's sitting right over there, so we can look at it every day. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely going to be the start of the downfall. The Death Riders losing the trios titles was definitely the chink in that armor. That's like crack. This is probably going to split it a bit wider. I wouldn't say Moxley was necessarily worried per se about Joe challenging him, but I think he was definitely a bit more focused on Samoa Joe, because Samoa Joe's a credible threat.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back of that sense, we're going to go straight into the last match that I've got on here, because this leads directly into the next match that John Moxley's going to have for the title at All In. So the next and final match we're going to talk about on this video will be the Owen Hart Men's Tournament Finals, which sees Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page. So, again, kind of, both these guys are big talents.
Yes.
They are credible threats to that title for Moxley right now, whether he sees it or not. If they lose the Anarchy in the Arena, does that mean that the winner of this match has a more credible chance to win that match at All In? And is All In the right time for it some 9 months after he's won the title?
Yeah.
You know? So let's get into the actual match itself. So Ospreay versus Hangman. In the tournament, Will Ospreay defeated Kevin Knight at Dynasty, and then he went on to defeat Konosuke Takeshita in the semi-finals to reach the finals. Hangman Adam Page defeated the wild card, which ended up being Josh Alexander, and then Kyle Fletcher, who technically he beat 2 members of the Don Callis family, even though Josh Alexander wasn't a member of the Don Callis family at that point of inception.
Yeah.
They are both ridiculously fired up for this. I just want to point out as well, actually, that Hangman Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher match was insane.
Yep.
That is one of the best matches of the year. Definite match of the year contender.
Yep.
Hangman Adam Page. If this was the Hangman Adam Page that had the title back a few years ago, that would have been a great run.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, they both fired up. They both want this more than anything else. For Ospreay, it's about his ascension to the top of that the ladder, to the throne, as it were. For Hangman Adam Page, he's trying to redeem himself for everything he's done in the last year and a half. So there's 2 very differing mentalities going into this. And I wouldn't necessarily say that they dislike each other, but I wouldn't say that I'd go into the bar and see them drinking together, you know?
Ospreay's not very sympathetic to Hangman's
Nobody is.
ambitions.
No. So they did successfully team up to take on the Don Callis family of Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander. At which point it looked like they were going to start trading blows. But then the ref was like, stop, keep it for double or nothing.
Yeah.
And obviously Ospreay was like, all right, bounces up the ring. There's not really much else to say about this. But the fact that the matches that both these guys have had all through this tournament have been straight fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute amazing matches. And I believe, and don't quote me on this one, I'm not 100% certain, I think this is the first time they will ever meet in a match.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they fought each other before.
They have been in the ring and literally said, considering we've been in the same companies multiple times, this is the first time we've actually spoken to each other.
Oh, there we go.
Ospreay
I missed
said that.
Yeah, I missed that. Cool, I missed it. Yeah.
Unless I've completely matrixed out.
You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. I missed that. Or I forgot about it. So yeah, again,
it's going to be great. It's a dream match.
Yeah, it is, and this is going to be insane. This is why it's my most looking forward to the match of the night, hands down, without question. Absolute banger. But the question is, if you've got nothing else, who you got?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, Ospreay's been up for a long time. Obviously lost the title, so then is not right at the top, but he's still maintained that level.
Yep, former international champion.
Hangman had a crazy storyline with Swerve, but hasn't been at the top championship level. But they're sort of at the same level, if you see where I'm going. So it puts them on a very even keel in that sense. And whatever the outcome, a match with Moxley is going to be really interesting.
And it's not just a match with Moxley. It's a match with Moxley at AEW's basically WrestleMania.
Yeah.
All In is their premium event of the year.
It's the big one.
It's the big one.
It's sort of, to me, the easy answer would be Ospreay because he's had he's had titles, and I know Hangman's had titles as well, but he's had a recent title run. He's really up there right now, even if his haircut's gone a bit weird. This is fine. It's his choice. But then Hangman, he's not the underdog, but I think might lead to a very interesting spin on things if he does beat Ospreay.
Mhm.
What does that do to Ospreay after everything? And how does Hangman's personality change now he's got this redemption? Does he realize it's not actually going to help? Or does it change it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Hangman, I think.
Oh, okay. Rex.
Rex wants to play. But it is like, to me, it could be either. It really could.
Yeah. I'm going desired result for Hangman Adam Page.
Cool. Yeah.
As much as I love Ospreay, I think he's definitely one of the best in the world right now.
Yeah.
I'm in my head, I'm playing fantasy booker. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think going back to what you just said then about Ospreay, and if he loses this, if it takes him down a peg, if it makes him sort of start questioning himself or whatnot, I don't think it would.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ospreay's so determined that he would be like, look, I lost to Hangman. At the end of the match, he will probably get up, dust himself off, offer the hand with a handshake, admit the better man won on the night,
and then go train.
and then start strategizing for what's next.
Yeah.
So, and I think that Hangman Adam Page has been in the company since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need someone who's been in that tenure for that length of time to take the title from Moxley.
Yeah.
So that makes it a more credible threat. Moxley's dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Hangman's potentially done more questionable stuff than Moxley.
Yes.
Does that make him more dangerous than Moxley?
He's a different kind of dangerous right
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
Exactly. Not only that, right? Swerve got screwed out the title.
Yes.
Swerve also said to Hangman, you will never hold that belt as far as I'm here.
Yeah.
Hangman effectively said to Swerve that he knows he was wrong.
Yeah.
That almost like a form of like a semi-apology, I guess, in a sense. Okay. So what if? Okay. Hangman Page wins, goes on to All In to face Moxley for the title, makes like a street fight or something like that, right? Swerve comes out, helps Hangman win the title.
Ooh, redemption.
Redemption for Hangman from the person who he wronged the most. The person he wronged the most in Swerve Strickland.
Yes.
Yeah? What does that do to Hangman? That would be interesting.
What does that do to Swerve?
What does it do to Swerve?
What does it do to Moxley?
Yeah.
Oh.
But the one thing I've got then for Ospreay is that sort of strategizing and whatnot. What if Tony Khan is to hold a tournament? The winner goes on to face the IWGP Heavyweight Champion of Forbidden Door.
Mm-hmm.
Ospreay wins, goes to the O2 Arena in London for Forbidden Door, which we have tickets for, by the way. Challenges whoever is going to be the champion at that point. As it stands right now, is Hiroki Goto. He is going to take on Shingo Takagi at Dominion for the title, and wins it 30 minutes from his home. The IWGP title, Ospreay never held it when he was in New Japan.
Okay.
So what if this is like the 10 years he spent in New Japan, he never got that title, right? Yeah. But he gets it now. Right. Is that his form of redemption for that 10 years of not getting the title?
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
And winning that top title 30 minutes from his home, incredible. That would be great storytelling for me.
Sorry if Rags hit the mic then, I don't know.
He probably did, let's be honest. So yeah, my desired result is Hangman, because I think I would rather see Hangman and Mox right now.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that Ospreay and Mox would be a great match as well. But those two very dangerous combustible elements.
Yes, for sure.
Ooh.
And I had a thought.
Uh-oh.
A bit unrelated.
Yeah.
So, we keep joking about how that briefcase isn't big enough for the title.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's in there but in pieces?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Smashed.
What would that do to Hangman's ego with that?
Yeah.
I won the belt!
Oh.
What is this?
Just bits. And then he, makes his own one by, patching it together. Sorry, that was a bit of an aside.
Yeah. So those are our predictions. Yeah. Overall, this card looks great. Much better than anything WWE's put on for the last couple of months.
That's not difficult.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that between the two pay-per-views that we've had, WWE have run 2 PLEs. One of them was 2 nights and a Saturday Night main event, and they've all been trash.
Yeah.
AEW. What's your least looking forward to match?
Oh God.
And why is it Mercedes Mone?
It's definitely Mercedes Mone. I mean, because she's Mercedes Mone.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, 100%. And again, like I've said before when I've done this, it really sucks. I really like Jimmy Hayter.
Yeah.
But Mone just drags that average down.
Yeah. Put Hayter in the ring with someone else, and we good.
Yeah. Favorite match? I know there's difficult between these two,
difficult.
But I'm gonna go straight up. Hangman and Ospreay.
Yeah, I think it is for me too. Because while the Anarchy in the Arena is really enjoyable, it's also sometimes a little bit too chaotic and a bit hard to follow. And that while I'll still enjoy it thoroughly, Ospreay and Hangman's going to be, for the most part, a straight wrestling match, and it's going to be excellent.
It's going to be crazy good. I'm looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So yeah, we'll be back with our reactions on Monday. It's a bank holiday in the UK, so we can watch it without threat spoilers, which is really good. So we'll be getting them up on Monday at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what you think about our predictions. I'll leave that to Leanne. She shows us the outro stuff. But in terms of predictions, if there are more matches or the stipulations or whatnot added, we'll pop them into the description to this down below. Chances are there will be a couple of buy-in matches announced at some point between now and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll pop them in there, and any updates to our predictions will also go in there as well. So we'll see what happens there. On the back of that, then Leanne, take us away.
Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you so much. Please like this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. Follow us on socials. Our link tree is in the description below, which will take you to Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can talk to us on there or in the comments. Let us know what you're most looking forward to or least looking forward to in this pay-per-view. Let us know. Join in the conversation. I think that's it. So until next time, cowboy stuff. Bye.
Bullet Club.